Joining me now is Matthew Tuttle, CEO and CIO of Tuttle Capital Management. Matthew, welcome.
Hey, thank you for having me.
So what are you going to be following most closely as trading gets underway?
Yeah, so a lot of stuff going on in the market, and as usual, what you see in the indices doesn't really reflect what's interesting. So what we're going to be most focused on is what area of the market is AI going to eat next. It was software starting a couple weeks ago, property and casualty the other day. We actually told our newsletter subscribers this morning, buy the dip in the property and casualty. Yesterday it was wealth management. What's it going to be next? But really, what we're telling people is buy areas that AI isn't going to crush.
All right, and the January jobs report came out earlier this morning. It was much better than expected. How much do you believe it's going to impact today's session?
So I think it's going to impact it a lot. Futures went from flat to up pretty big on that number. I still think there's going to be some uncertainty there. Is good news, or is good news bad news? Bond yields immediately spiked. I think you've got people concerned that this may keep the Fed on hold for longer. I don't think so. I think Trump is going to get what he wants with the Fed, but certainly you want to keep an eye on rates because that could derail some of the good feelings that you're seeing now in stocks.
All right, and we are in the heart of earnings season. We've heard from 6 of the 7 Mag 7 firms. They've reported in just the past 2 weeks. What did you take away from the figures?
So I took away that, to me, the biggest catalyst in this market is the AI CapEx spending, and it's still going strong. We love the Mag 7 companies here. We think that if you look at all the main themes that we're going to see in the market over the next kind of 1 to 3 years, a Mag 7 company is going to be the leader there. We put our money where our mouth is a couple weeks ago and launched MAGO, our Mag 7 ETF. We think that Mag 7 is something you want to buy into, especially on the weakness we've seen in these names lately. We think that rotation is going to come back.
All right, and NVIDIA is due to report 2 weeks from today. What questions do you hope that Jensen Huang and his team answers?
So it's not as much what questions does he answer as much as does he kind of keep the narrative going. You don't want him to, have any big China risks. You don't want him to have any risks of, people not buying what he's selling. You don't want to have any OpenAI risks. We had some uncertainty. Does NVIDIA have a deal with OpenAI? Do they not? You'd like to get some clarity on that, and hopefully everybody is friends.
And Matthew, how should investors be approaching the latest AI developments as you were talking about before?
So you really want to go into areas that AI is not going to eat. And, I love robotics. I love space. Something we've been writing about a lot is the secret gap, which is, what technologies are in secret government programs that might eventually surface, like we saw with the internet and GPS years ago. We just did an ETF for that last week, UFOD. Those are a lot of the areas. I'm also looking at European digital sovereignty. That's more of a diversification trade. I don't think you're going to see a European country be as investable as Mag 7, but I do think it makes sense to get a little bit of European allocation.
And what advice would you have for investors who are navigating this market volatility and headwinds?
So we teach people a concept called the heat formula. And the H in heat stands for hedges. Always be hedged. Is AI in a bubble? Maybe, maybe not. Are you going to call the top of that bubble? No. So invest what the market is showing you, not what you think, but always go to bed with hedges in your portfolio. And then you'll be able to sleep at night. And long term, you're going to be fine.
All right, thank you, Matthew Tuttle, CEO and CIO of Tuttle Capital Management.